20. Black celebrities who revealed shocking secrets before dying. What if the icons you admired most carried shocking secrets they never wanted the world to know, secrets only uncovered after their deaths? From hidden vaults of music and mysterious wills to silent battles with illness and struggles no spotlight ever revealed. These stories will change the way you see your favorite stars forever. Fame may have made them legends, but truth makes them human. Stay with us as we uncover 20 black celebrities who revealed shocking secrets before dying. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence so you never miss these powerful untold stories. Michael Jackson. Michael Joseph Jackson, born August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, is remembered worldwide as the King of Pop. His career spanned more than 4 decades, beginning as the youngest star of the Jackson 5 before launching into a record-breaking solo journey. With legendary albums such as Thriller Bad and Dangerous, Jackson became the most awarded and recognized entertainer in history, selling more than 350 million records globally. His groundbreaking music videos, from Billie Jean to Smooth Criminal, set new standards for artistry and storytelling in pop culture. Millions adored his electric performances, and his image became a symbol of both genius and mystery. Yet behind the glittering success, a hidden reality began to surface only after his untimely death on June 25, 2009. Investigations revealed that Jackson had been struggling for years with chronic insomnia and severe pain from injuries sustained during his demanding career. To cope, he relied on powerful medications, an issue that became public when the Los Angeles County Coroner's report confirmed his dependency on a drug cocktail, with propofol being the most notable. But what startled the world even more was the discovery that Jackson had used at least 19 different aliases, names like Omar Arnold and Jack London, to obtain prescriptions. This detail painted a sobering picture of a man desperate to find rest in the midst of relentless fame. These revelations came largely through testimony from his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, along with documents seized from various medical offices. To many fans, the information felt heartbreaking. The man who delivered joy and boundless energy on stage was privately trapped in a cycle of sleepless nights and medical dependence. It also sparked broader conversations about the pressures of superstardom and how little privacy artists are granted when they reach global fame. Here's a thought for you. Do you think the crushing demands of global celebrity inevitably lead artists like Jackson into dangerous paths, or was his case unique to his personal circumstances? Despite these posthumous disclosures, Michael Jackson's legacy remains monumental. His humanitarian work, including donations estimated at over $300 million to charities, his pioneering music, and his cultural influence continue to inspire new generations. Every year, millions still celebrate his artistry, and unreleased material periodically resurfaces, reminding the world of his unmatched creativity. His story is one of brilliance, complexity, and human vulnerability, a reminder that even icons who seem larger than life often carry battles unseen until it is too late. Prince Rogers Nelson. Prince Rogers Nelson, born June 7, 1958 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, was far more than just a musician. He was a cultural force. Over a career that spanned 4 decades, he became renowned for his groundbreaking sound that fused funk rock, R&B, and pop into something entirely his own. With timeless hits like Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, and Kiss, Prince sold more than 150 million records worldwide and earned an Academy Award, 7 Grammys, and a Golden Globe. His flamboyant stage presence, virtuosic guitar playing, and daring fashion made him one of the most original and influential performers in history. Yet when Prince tragically passed away on April 21, 2016 at the age of 57, the world soon discovered that his story was not fully written. Shortly after his death, it was revealed that within his sprawling Paisley Park estate in Chanhassen, Minnesota, sat a mysterious vault. Inside this heavily secured room were thousands of unreleased songs and recordings and trios. The discovery added yet another layer to Prince's legend. He was already known for recording at a relentless pace, sometimes completing entire songs in a single day, and rarely shared his creative process. Now the vault symbolized both his boundless creativity and his enigmatic personality. For fans, the question became irresistible. Would these unreleased tracks reveal an even greater side of Prince, or had he kept them hidden because he didn't feel they were ready? The vault remains the centerpiece of ongoing discussions about his legacy. Some of its contents have been carefully curated and released, such as the 2018 album Piano and a Microphone 1983, which gave Prince's shocking posthumous secret, did not diminish his status but instead expanded it. It reminded the world that he was not just a star of his era, but a visionary who left behind a creative universe too vast to be contained in one lifetime. His legacy continues to challenge, inspire, and electrify audiences, proof that even in death, Prince remains a master of mystery. Whitney Houston. Whitney Elizabeth Houston, born August 9, 1963 in Newark, New Jersey, was a natural-born star. With a voice that combined gospel power and pop precision, she redefined what it meant to be a superstar. Over her career, Whitney sold more than 200 million albums worldwide of 30 Billboard Music Awards. She became the first female artist to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200 and set a record with 7 achieved on the Billboard Hot 100, a feat still unmatched. Songs like Greatest Love of All and I Will Always Love You not only defined an era, but also turned Whitney into a symbol of pure vocal brilliance. But in the wake of her tragic death on February 11, 2012, the world began to see a more complicated truth. Investigations combined with testimony from family and her former husband Bobby Brown revealed that Whitney had been struggling with substance addiction since the early 1990s. The Los Angeles County Coroner's report confirmed the presence of multiple substances in her system at the time of her death. This revelation shocked fans who had viewed her as untouchable, the golden girl of pop and R&B whose voice once seemed limitless. The painful reality was that fame had placed Whitney under relentless pressure. She was expected to maintain perfection on stage and in public while privately carrying the weight of a battle she often denied. In a now famous 2002 interview, Whitney admitted to her addiction struggles for the first time, a rare moment of honesty that later gave context to the heartbreaking details revealed after her passing. Whitney's story, though tragic, also serves as a warning and a lesson. Her struggles opened conversations about addiction, mental health, and the hidden costs of global stardom. Even today, countless fans return to her catalog, finding comfort in her music while reflecting on the vulnerability she tried to hide. Her legacy is more than just statistics and awards. It's about resilience, brilliance, and humanity. Whitney Houston's secrets unveiled after her death remind us that even the brightest stars can burn out under the weight of invisible struggles. Yet her voice, soaring, emotional, and timeless, ensures she will always be remembered not for her downfall, but for the unmatched gift she left the world. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Aaron Boseman, born November 29, 1976, in Anderson, South Carolina, rose from humble beginnings to become one of Hollywood's most respected actors. After studying at Howard University under the mentorship of Phylicia Rashad, and later training at the British American Drama Academy in Oxford, he pursued a career that balanced artistry with purpose. His breakthrough came with 42, 2013, where he embodied baseball legend Jackie Robinson. He followed this with unforgettable portrayals of James Brown in Get On Up 2014 and Thurgood Marshall in Marshall 2017. But it was his role as T'Challa in With 2018 that transformed him into a global icon, inspiring millions with the first Black-led Marvel blockbuster that grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide. Yet behind his glowing smile and commanding presence, Boseman carried a burden few could imagine. After his death on August 28, 2020, his family revealed that he had been diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016, which later advanced to stage 4. For 4 years, he quietly endured surgeries and rounds of chemotherapy, never once making his illness public. Instead, He pressed forward filming demanding projects like Without 5 Years Old and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Even close colleagues were unaware of his struggle. Director Ryan Coogler later admitted he had no idea Chadwick was sick, describing him as intensely private and deeply committed to his craft. His decision to keep his diagnosis secret followed his mother's advice: don't let people fuss over you. That choice reflected his selflessness. He wanted the focus on the work, not his personal challenges. Chadwick's passing at only 43 stunned the globe, sparking tributes from fans, world leaders, and fellow actors. His legacy, however, is not just cinematic. He used his platform to visit children battling cancer at St. Jude's Hospital, never revealing that he too was fighting the same disease. He embodied grace, resilience, and dignity in a way that transcended the screen. Today, Chadwick Boseman is remembered not only as the King of Wakanda, but as a symbol of courage. His shocking posthumous revelation reminds us that even the strongest heroes may be waging silent wars, and true greatness often lies in enduring pain with unshakable purpose. Aretha Franklin. Aretha. Louise Franklin, born March 25, 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee, was more than a singer. She was a voice of strength, empowerment, and change. Crowned the Queen of Soul, she gifted the world with timeless anthems like Respect, Chain of Fools Exam, at a million records, 18 Grammy Awards, and became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. Beyond music, her songs became rallying cries for the civil rights and women's liberation movements, solidifying her as both a cultural and political icon. When Aretha passed away on August 16, 2018, at the age of 76, the world mourned not just a legend, but an institution. Yet her death unveiled secrets that sparked a different kind of headline. It was revealed that she had left behind 3 handwritten wills discovered in various parts of her Detroit home. One of the most surprising was found tucked under the cushions of her living room couch. These wills, dated between 2010 and 2014, contained conflicting instructions about how her multi-million-dollar estate should be divided among her 4 sons. The revelation launched a long and emotional legal battle. Her children disagreed over which document should be considered valid, leading to heated disputes in court. In 2023, a Michigan jury determined that the 2014 will, though informal and sometimes difficult to read, was legally binding. This decision ended years of uncertainty, but left behind a cautionary tale about the importance of clear estate planning, even for the most accomplished among us. For fans, the discovery of these wills added a new dimension to Aretha Franklin's legacy. She was always fiercely independent, managing her own business affairs without a formal manager for much of her career. The hidden documents reflected that same self-reliant spirit, even if they complicated her family's path forward. Despite the legal wrangling, nothing could diminish her towering impact. Aretha's music continues to inspire generations, and her fearless use of her voice, both literally and figuratively, remains unmatched. The posthumous revelation of her hidden wills reminded the world that even icons leave behind unfinished business. But her greatest legacy will forever be the sound of freedom and dignity carried in every note she sang. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Amaru Shakur, born June 16, 1971 in East Harlem. New York was far more than a rapper, he was a cultural prophet. Known worldwide as Tupac, he rose to fame with albums like Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me, selling over 75. His lyrics spoke to poverty, systemic racism, and the struggles of urban America, making him both a voice for the voiceless and one of the most controversial figures in music history. Songs like Dear Mama and Changes remain anthems of truth and resilience, reminding listeners of the power of raw honesty. On September 13, 1996, Tupac's life ended at only 25 years old after a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. His death stunned the world, but what emerged afterward added a deeper, more intimate portrait of the man behind the music. Among the revelations were collections of handwritten poems and letters that Tupac had penned throughout his short life. These writings, often tender and vulnerable, revealed a side of him far removed from his thug life persona. Some were dedicated to women he loved, others reflected on his dreams, fears, and hope for a better world. Jada Pinkett Smith, one of his closest friends, shared several of these poems publicly on what would have been his 50th birthday, allowing fans to glimpse the soul of the man she knew privately. What makes these writings so powerful is how they humanize an artist often defined by conflict and controversy. His poetry showed sensitivity, reflection, and longing qualities overshadowed by his image as a hardened street poet. These personal revelations reshaped his legacy, proving that beneath the firebrand exterior was a thinker and dreamer whose artistry extended far beyond music. Even decades after his passing, Tupac's influence endures. His letters and poems have been studied in schools, published in books like The Rose That Grew from Concrete, and used to inspire social activism. They remind us that Tupac's genius wasn't limited to beats and rhymes. It lived in his ability to translate pain into words that resonate universally. The shocking secrets uncovered after his death didn't tarnish his legend. They deepened it. They revealed Tupac Shakur not just as a hip-hop icon, but as a poet, philosopher, and visionary whose voice still echoes louder than ever. Ermias Joseph Asghedom Nipsey Hussle. Ermias Joseph Asghedom, known to the world as Nipsey Hussle, was born on August 15, 1985 in Los Angeles, California. Long before his tragic death in 2019, he had earned recognition not just as a Grammy-nominated rapper, but as an activist and entrepreneur who poured his success back into the community that raised him. His 2018 album, Victory Lap, received widespread acclaim and earned a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Album, cementing his place in hip-hop. But what made Nipsey unique was that his legacy extended far beyond music. After his passing on March 31, 2019, the depth of his community work came fully to light. Nipsey had quietly invested in projects designed to uplift South Los Angeles, particularly the Crenshaw neighborhood. He co-founded Vector 90, a co-working space and STEM learning center that gave underprivileged youth access to resources in technology and entrepreneurship. He also purchased property on Crenshaw Boulevard to open the Marathon Clothing, a smart store that combined retail with technology and became a hub for local innovators. Beyond business, he acquired real estate to develop affordable housing units and created employment opportunities for residents who often felt left behind. These revelations highlighted Nipsey as more than an entertainer. He was a strategist who sought to break cycles of poverty through ownership and education. His forward-thinking approach inspired countless young people, proving that success didn't have to mean abandoning your roots. Instead, he believed in transforming them. Nipsey's shocking death at the age of 33 left fans mourning a visionary cut down too soon, but the discoveries about his behind-the-scenes work gave new meaning to his legacy. His investments weren't headline stunts, they were carefully planned steps to empower Black communities economically and socially. Even after his passing, the programs and businesses he built continue to operate, serving as living proof of his philosophy. The highest human act is to inspire. Ermias Nipsey Hussle. Asghedom's life story is no longer just about music, it's about vision, resilience, and responsibility. The secrets that surfaced after his death revealed that he wasn't only making records, he was rewriting the blueprint for how an artist could change the world. James Brown. James Joseph Brown, born May 3, 1933 in Barnwell, South Carolina, transformed the sound of American music. Nicknamed the Godfather of Soul, a Pioneer 50 album scored 17 #1 hits on the R&B charts and influenced countless genres from hip-hop to rock. Songs like I Got You, I Feel Good, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, and Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine strap. When Brown died on December 25, 2006, at the age of 73, the world expected to celebrate his music and legacy. Instead, shocking revelations about his personal affairs overshadowed his farewell. It came to light that his estate, valued in the tens of millions, was in disarray due to poor management and conflicting wills. For years, his children, partners, and business associates engaged in legal disputes over who had rightful control. More than a dozen lawsuits where court documents revealed that Brown's intent had been clear. He wanted the bulk of his fortune to fund educational scholarships for disadvantaged children in Georgia and South Carolina. However, because of constant infighting and unclear estate planning, this vision was delayed for over a decade. In 2021, a settlement was finally reached, allowing resources to go toward the cause he had championed. The turbulence surrounding his estate painted a complex picture. While fans remembered his music as revolutionary, his private life was marked by strained relationships, substance abuse struggles, and financial missteps. Even after his passing, these hidden details forced the world to reconcile James Brown, the musical innovator, with James Brown, the flawed human being. Despite the messy revelations, James Brown's status as a pioneer remains untouchable. His rhythms laid the foundation for modern funk, hip-hop sampling, and countless artists who cite him as a direct influence. The shocking legal battles after his death reminded the public of the fragility of fame and fortune, but they also reaffirmed his commitment to giving back. In the end, Brown's final act, though delayed, was one of generosity, ensuring that his legacy would not only be about music, but also about opportunity for future generations. Bob Marley. Robert Nesta Marley, born February 6, 1945, in 9 Mile, Jamaica, rose from rural beginnings to become the global face of reggae music. Known simply as Bob Marley, he brought the rhythms of Jamaica to the world with timeless songs like No Woman, No Cry, I Will Return, and One Love. His career with the Wailers and later as a solo artist turned reggae into an international language of peace, resistance, and spirituality. By the time of his passing in 1981, Marley had sold more than 75 million records worldwide. But after his death at only 36 years old, the world learned surprising truths about his private life. While Marley and his wife Rita shared 3 biological children and adopted 2 others together, biographers and family records revealed that Bob had fathered at least 7 more children with different women during his lifetime. In total, he left behind a complex family network of at least 11 recognized children, with rumors of even more. This revelation shocked fans who had admired Marley as a prophet of love and spirituality, but hadn't known the full extent of his personal relationships. These discoveries were not meant to tarnish him, but rather to show a fuller picture of a man whose life was as complicated as his art was inspiring. His children, including Ziggy, Damian, Stephen, and Cedella Marley, have carried on his legacy through music, philanthropy, and business, proving that Marley's influence stretched well beyond his own recordings. The Marley estate, through merchandise reissues and charitable projects, continues to generate millions annually, keeping his message alive across generations. Even with these intimate details exposed, Marley's stature has only grown. In 1994, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and his posthumous compilation Legend remains one of the best-selling albums of all time. His music still rings out at protests, celebrations, and moments of reflection around the globe. The hidden truths about Bob Marley's family life added nuance to his story, but did not dim the light of his legacy. Instead, they reminded the world that even icons who preach peace and unity are still deeply human, flawed, passionate, and complex. Marley's secrets may have surfaced after his passing, but his message of love and resistance continues to echo louder than ever. Jimi Hendrix. James Marshall Hendrix. Born November 27, 1942, in Seattle, Washington, forever changed the sound of modern music. Known to the world as Jimi Hendrix, he redefined what the electric guitar could do, blending blues, rock, funk, and psychedelia into a style that was entirely his own. His performances at Woodstock in 1969 and Monterey Pop Festival in 1967 remain legendary, with renditions of the Star-Spangled Banner and Wild Thing, showcasing both his political awareness and his dazzling technique. Despite a career that lasted only 4 short years, Hendrix released groundbreaking albums like Are You Experienced and Electric Ladyland, selling more than 30 million records worldwide during his lifetime and after. Hendrix died on September 18, 1970 in London at just 27 years old, joining what would later be called the 27 Club. But even after his passing, the world was stunned to discover how much music he had left behind. Hidden in his personal archives were hundreds of unreleased recordings, rough sketches, studio sessions, and nearly completed tracks. These works revealed just how tirelessly Hendrix had been creating, often recording late into the night at his own Electric Lady Studios in New York. After his death, family members and record companies began cataloging these treasures. Many of them were later released in posthumous albums, such as The Cry of Love, 1971, and First Rays of the New Rising Sun, 1997. Each release gave fans a new glimpse into his restless genius, as if Hendrix were still speaking from beyond the grave. For scholars and musicians alike, these recordings confirmed that Hendrix was not simply improvising magic on stage, he was meticulously exploring sound, always pushing boundaries. What makes Hendrix's posthumous revelations so powerful is that they added depth to his already mythic reputation. Far from being a star who flamed out early, he was an innovator whose creativity outpaced the years he was given. The unreleased material showed that he was planning to move even further beyond rock into jazz funk and experimental soundscapes, proving his artistry was still evolving. Jimi Hendrix remains a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and raw talent. His shocking secret that there was far more music waiting in the wings turned his legacy from tragedy into something eternal. Even in death, Hendrix continues to teach us that true creativity knows no boundaries. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Pentz Gaye Jr., born April 2, 1939 in Washington, D.C., became one of the most influential voices of Motown and soul music. Known as the Prince of Soul, his smooth vocals and fearless artistry gave the world unforgettable classics like What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Across his career, Marvin sold tens of millions of records, earned Grammy Awards, and changed the way music could speak about politics, intimacy, and the human condition. His influence shaped generations of artists from Stevie Wonder to modern R&B singers who still cover his timeless hits. On April 1, 1984, just one day before his 45th birthday, Marvin's life ended tragically after a violent altercation with his father. While fans mourned the loss of a genius, new revelations emerged that shocked the public. Despite his immense success, Marvin Gaye was in serious financial trouble at the time of his death. Court documents later revealed that he owed more than $2 million, including approximately $4.5 million in unpaid taxes to the Internal Revenue Service. For many, it was difficult to reconcile the image of a world-renowned superstar with the reality of crippling debt. The financial woes stemmed from a combination of factors: lavish spending, costly divorces, and ongoing struggles with substance abuse. His marriage to Anna Gordy, sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy, ended in a highly publicized split that left him paying large settlements. Addictions further drained his resources, while poor financial management left his estate vulnerable. These hidden struggles only became widely known after lawyers and executors began untangling his finances following his death. Even amid these painful truths, Marvin's artistry remains untarnished. His music catalog, carefully protected and managed after his passing, continued to generate income for his heirs, ensuring his children benefited from his legacy. Over time, his estate overcame its debts through royalties and licensing, proving that his art would continue to provide long after his personal fortune was gone. Marvin Gaye's shocking posthumous secret revealed a vulnerable man behind the legend, a reminder that even icons are not immune to the pitfalls of fame addiction and financial mismanagement. Yet his voice, filled with passion and urgency, continues to echo through history. He may have left the world burdened with hidden struggles, but the music he gave us remains a priceless gift that no debt could diminish. Etta James, Jamesetta Hawkins. Jamesetta Hawkins, better known as Etta James, was born on January 25, 1938, in Los Angeles, California. From her teenage years, she possessed a voice so powerful and soulful that it could move listeners to tears. Over a career spanning 5 decades, she blended blues, soul, R&B, and gospel into a style entirely her own. With songs like At Last Tell Mama and I'd Rather Go Blind, she became one of the most distinctive voices of the 20th century. Her music earned her 6 Grammy Awards, 17 Blues Music Awards, and an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993. Fans adored her raw emotion and authenticity qualities that made her both relatable and unforgettable. Yet when Etta James passed away on January 20th, 2012, the world discovered more about the struggles she had carried in silence. It was revealed that she had battled substance addiction for much of her life, beginning in the early 1960s. This hidden fight left deep scars not only on her career, but also on her health and personal life. Arrests, stints in jail, and multiple trips to rehabilitation facilities interrupted her career just as she was rising to fame. For many fans, learning the extent of her decades-long struggle was heartbreaking, a sobering contrast to the powerful, confident woman who commanded every stage she stepped on. Despite these challenges, James never allowed adversity to define her completely. By the late 1980s, she managed to reclaim her career with the critically acclaimed album 7 Year Itch, proving that her artistry was stronger than her past. This comeback marked a new chapter 1, in which she was celebrated not only as a survivor, but also as an enduring symbol of resilience in the music industry. Her shocking revelations after death did not tarnish her reputation, they deepened it. They reminded the world that behind every flawless performance was a woman who fought against demons most of her fans never saw. Etta James's story became a powerful example of perseverance, illustrating that true greatness often emerges not in the absence of struggle but through it. Even today, her music continues to inspire, and her name is spoken alongside legends who changed the sound of American music forever. The secrets unveiled after her passing only added layers to her legacy, painting her not just as a singer, but as a fighter whose voice was shaped by both triumph and tragedy. Richard Pryor. Richard Franklin Lennox. Thomas Pryor Sr., born December 1, 1940 in Peoria, Illinois, is widely regarded as one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. His razor-sharp humor and fearless social commentary changed comedy forever. From his legendary routines on race relations and politics to his bold storytelling about everyday struggles, Pryor's work influenced generations of comedians including Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle. He won 5 Grammy Awards for Best Comedy Recording, wrote and starred in hit films like Silver Streak and Stir Crazy, and was the first ever recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 1998. But behind the laughter was a man carrying an immense burden. After his death on December 10, 2005, the world learned in greater detail that Pryor had been battling multiple sclerosis MS since 1986. MS is a chronic disease that attacks the central nervous system, gradually impairing mobility, speech, and coordination. While fans often noticed his frail appearance in later years, few realized the extent of his daily struggles. His wife, Jennifer Lee Pryor, later revealed that Richard believed MS had ironically slowed him down in a way that forced him to care more for his health, even as the disease continued to progress. This revelation gave a new layer of meaning to his final performances. Though confined to a wheelchair at times, Pryor still appeared on stage, using his illness as part of his act, turning tragedy into comedy in a way only he could. His courage to laugh through pain reinforced why audiences adored him. He never hid the truth, even when it was heartbreaking. Here's something to think about. Does the ability to joke about personal pain make someone stronger, or does it mask the deeper suffering that audiences rarely see? Beyond MS, Pryor also endured public battles with substance abuse. tumultuous relationships, and even a near-fatal accident in 1980 involving freebasing cocaine. These hardships, when revealed in full after his passing, painted a picture of a man who used humor not to escape reality, but to confront it head-on. The shocking posthumous acknowledgement of his long fight with MS didn't diminish his reputation, it elevated it. Fans and fellow comedians saw him not just as a genius, but as a warrior who faced life's cruelties with unshakable honesty. Richard Pryor's legacy remains untouchable, a groundbreaking comedian who redefined the art of stand-up. His secrets revealed after death only proved that behind every explosive laugh was a man determined to show the world that truth, whether funny, painful, or both, always deserves a voice. Sam Cooke. Samuel Cooke, known professionally as Sam Cooke, was born on January 22, 1931 in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and raised in Chicago. He became known as the King of Soul, a pioneer whose smooth, velvety voice bridged the gap between gospel R&B and pop. Starting with the Soul Stirrers, Cooke transitioned to mainstream music and delivered timeless classics like You Send Me Cupid and A Change Is Gonna Come. The latter became an anthem of the civil rights movement, cementing Cooke's legacy as both an artist and an activist. In just over a decade, he recorded 29 top 40 hits, sold millions of records, and left an indelible mark on American music. But Cooke's life ended violently and unexpectedly on December 11, 1964, at just 33 years old, when he was fatally shot by a motel manager in Los Angeles. While the incident was officially ruled a justifiable homicide, questions and conspiracy theories continue to surround the circumstances of his death. For fans, this shocking end was already difficult to accept, but what came to light afterward added another layer to his story. Court records revealed that despite his enormous success, Cooke had serious financial problems and unpaid taxes at the time of his death. His estate faced significant debts, leaving his family and business associates to untangle the mess. This revelation surprised many, since Cooke was seen as one of the first black artists to take control of his own career, founding both a publishing company and a record label to secure his independence. That a man so forward-thinking could still leave behind financial disarray underscored the harsh realities of fame and money management in the music industry. Despite the financial revelations, Cooke's influence only grew. His pioneering efforts in owning his music inspired countless artists to fight for their rights. His children and estate worked hard to stabilize his finances, ensuring royalties continued to flow from his timeless recordings. Today, A Change Is Gonna Come is studied in schools and performed at major events, a testament to his enduring cultural power. The shocking truths revealed after his passing did not diminish his greatness, they humanized him. They reminded the world that even a visionary could face hidden challenges, balancing genius with fragility. Sam Cooke's life may have ended tragically and prematurely, but his voice, his activism, and his music continue to echo as symbols of hope and resilience. Otis Redding. Otis Ray Redding, Jr., born September 9, 1941 in Dawson, Georgia, grew up in humble beginnings before becoming one of the most powerful voices in soul music. Known as the King of Soul, he gained fame for his passionate delivery and heartfelt performances that captured both joy and sorrow in equal measure. With classics like These Arms of Mine Respect, later immortalized by Aretha Franklin, Try a Little Tenderness, and his posthumous masterpiece, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay Redding, helped define the sound of the 1960s. By the time of his death, he had already influenced generations of musicians, even though his career lasted less than a decade. On December 10, 1967, tragedy struck when Otis Redding's private plane crashed into a lake in Wisconsin, killing him at just 26 years old, along with several members of his band, the Bar-Kays. The music world was stunned not only by his sudden death, but by what was discovered afterward. In the wake of the crash, it was revealed that Otis had left behind a vast archive of unreleased recordings, many in various stages of completion. For fans, this discovery was both heartbreaking and exhilarating. It showed that even at such a young age, Redding had been working tirelessly, pouring his creativity into projects the world had never heard. His record label, Stax Records, and music historians began carefully cataloging these tracks. Some were polished and released in posthumous albums like The Immortal Otis Redding, 1968, and Love Man, 1969. Others were fragments, unfinished songs that still revealed his boundless ambition to push soul music into new directions. This hidden collection became a treasure trove, proving that Redding was on the cusp of even greater achievements when his life was cut short. The shock of Redding's unreleased material added to his legend, positioning him not just as a young star lost too soon, but as an artist whose potential was limitless. Unlike many of his peers, his music carried a timeless quality, raw, emotional, and universal. His influence can be heard in artists from Al Green to modern soul singers who continue to cite him as an inspiration. Otis Redding's secrets revealed after his death remind us that brilliance often burns brightest in the shortest time. Though his career ended abruptly, the hidden recordings he left behind ensured that his voice, his vision, and his soul would live on far beyond his 26 years. Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Linda Hyman, born July 6, 1949 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, rose to prominence in the late 1970s with a voice that was as commanding as it was tender. Standing nearly 6 feet tall with striking beauty and a contralto tone that could cut through any arrangement, she became one of the most distinctive R&B and jazz vocalists of her era. Her hits included You Know How to Love Me, Living All Alone and Don't Want to Change the World, the latter of which earned her chart success in the early 1990s. She also shined on Broadway, earning a Tony Award nomination for her performance in Sophisticated Ladies, a musical celebrating the work of Duke Ellington. Yet behind the glamour of the stage, Phyllis carried struggles that remained hidden until after her death. On June 30, 1995, just hours before she was scheduled to perform at the Apollo Theater in New York City, Hyman took her own life at the age of 45. It was only after this tragedy that the public learned the depth of her battle with bipolar disorder and severe depression. Friends and family later revealed that Phyllis had been diagnosed in the 1980s, enduring years of mood swings and crippling sadness, even while maintaining a career that demanded perfection. Her diaries and interviews uncovered more painful truths. She often spoke of feeling isolated in the music industry, struggling financially, and carrying the weight of unhealed personal wounds. These pressures were compounded by substance abuse, which further clouded her mental health. What fans saw on stage, a confident, glamorous performer, was in private a woman consumed by battles she felt she could not share with the world. The shocking revelations after her death reframed how the world remembered her. She was no longer just the singer with the elegant presence and powerful voice. She became a symbol of how unseen struggles can consume even the brightest talents. In the years since, her story has been used to highlight the importance of mental health awareness, especially for artists constantly under pressure. Phyllis Hyman's legacy lives in her recordings, her Broadway triumphs, and the raw honesty she left behind in her music. Her secrets, revealed only after she was gone, did not tarnish her image. They deepened it, showing her as both fragile and magnificent. She remains an unforgettable figure, a reminder that behind every song of passion might be a cry for help the world never heard. Donny Hathaway. Donny. Edward Hathaway, born October 1, 1945 in Chicago, Illinois, was one of the most gifted voices of 1970s soul. Raised by his grandmother, a professional gospel singer, Hathaway's natural talent was recognized early. He studied at Howard University before launching a career that gave the world heartfelt classics like A Song for You This Christmas and his unforgettable duets with Roberta Flack, including the Grammy-winning Where Is the Love? His ability to blend gospel jazz and soul into emotionally charged performances made him a favorite among musicians and fans alike. Even today, his warm, expressive voice is considered one of the finest of his generation. But Hathaway's story took a heartbreaking turn. On January 13, 1979, he was found dead in New York City at just 33 years old, the result of a fall from his hotel room. His death shocked the music world. But what emerged afterward revealed an even more painful truth. Donnie had been struggling for years with paranoid schizophrenia and severe depression. These conditions, largely hidden from the public during his career, had led to repeated hospitalizations, long absences from the stage, and difficult recording sessions. Friends and collaborators later shared that Hathaway sometimes believed voices were controlling his actions, and at times he feared people were trying to harm him. Despite these battles, he continued to pour his soul into music that carried messages of love and humanity. His illness, however, grew more debilitating, making it nearly impossible for him to maintain the demanding pace of a professional career. The revelations after his death helped fans understand why such a brilliant artist had such a short and turbulent journey. This leads to a difficult question. If Hathaway had lived in an era with better mental health treatment and less stigma, would he have been able to overcome his struggles and give the world even more timeless music? Though his life ended tragically, Hathaway's legacy endures, his Christmas classic. This Christmas is still one of the most played holiday songs in the United States, and his duets with Roberta Flack remain benchmarks of soul harmony. His influence can be heard in artists like Stevie Wonder, Alicia Keys, and John Legend, all of whom cite him as an inspiration. The shocking truth of Hathaway's mental health battles, revealed in greater depth after his passing, did not diminish his artistry. It made it all the more remarkable. His ability to create beauty while enduring immense personal suffering shows the resilience of the human spirit. Donny Hathaway will always be remembered not only as a soul legend, but also as a man whose music gave voice to both love and pain in equal measure. Aaliyah Dana Houghton. Aaliyah Dana Houghton, born January 16, 1979 in Brooklyn, New York, was destined for greatness from a young age. Nicknamed the Princess of R&B, she signed her first record deal at only 12 years old and soon began working with influential producers. Her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number 1994, introduced her smooth voice and unique style, while her follow-ups One in a Million, 1996, and Romeo Must Die. The album 2000 solidified her as one of the most promising artists of her generation. She became known not only for hits like Try Again and Are You That Somebody, but also for her elegant stage presence and groundbreaking music videos. By 2001, she had sold over 24 million records worldwide and was making her mark in Hollywood with films like Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned. Tragically, Aaliyah's life was cut short on August 25, 2001, when her plane crashed in the Bahamas after filming the video for Rock the Boat. She was only 22 years old. While her death stunned the world, what emerged afterward shocked fans even more. Court documents and testimonies later revealed that in 1994, at the age of just 15, Aaliyah had been illegally married to R. Kelly, who was 27 at the time. A falsified ID listing her as 18 had been used to secure the marriage license. The union was annulled within months, but the revelation years later, especially during Kelly's highly publicized trial, cast a troubling shadow over her early career. For many fans, this secret highlighted the exploitation and pressure Aaliyah faced as a young woman in the music industry. It also sparked larger conversations about protecting young artists and holding adults accountable for abusing positions of power. Despite the painful truth, Aaliyah's grace and talent continued to shine through, reminding the world that she was far more than the circumstances she endured. Even after her death, Aaliyah's influence has remained profound. Artists like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Drake have cited her as an inspiration. Her music continues to stream to millions of listeners, and her timeless fashion sense still shapes trends decades later. The revelation of her secret marriage may have shocked the world, but it also reminded us of the vulnerability behind her stardom. Aaliyah's legacy is a blend of brilliance, tragedy, and resilience, proof that even in her short life she left an impact that will never fade. Lisa Nicole Lopez. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Lisa Nicole Lopes, born May 27, 1971 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, became famous worldwide as Left Eye, one-third of the groundbreaking R&B trio TLC. With her quick rhymes, bold fashion, and unapologetic personality, she gave the group its edge. Alongside Tian, T-Boz Watkins, and Rosanda Chili Thomas, she helped TLC become one of the best-selling girl groups of all time with more than 65 million records sold worldwide. Hits like Waterfalls Creep and No Scrubs not only dominated charts but also pushed conversations about safe-sex female empowerment and independence. Lisa stood out for her charisma and creativity, often acting as the group's visionary force. But Lisa's life was filled with turbulence. She was no stranger to headlines, her fiery relationships, and a highly publicized 1994 incident where she burned down her boyfriend Andre Risson's mansion, painted her as unpredictable. Yet after her tragic death in a car accident on April 25, 2002 in Honduras, at just 30 years old, shocking revelations emerged that showed a different side of her story. It was revealed that Lisa had been deeply involved in spiritual practices and holistic healing, particularly during her time in Honduras. She had traveled multiple times to study under Dr. Sebi, a controversial herbalist seeking not only natural remedies for physical health, but also spiritual clarity. Lopes explored detox treatments, fasting, and natural plant-based cures. In personal journals and video diaries, later made public, she spoke openly about her quest for self-discovery and healing a side of her life that many fans had never known. Her trips were not simply health retreats, they were journeys to redefine her identity. She even documented her final days filming a spiritual retreat, where she reflected on life, death, and her purpose. These revelations reframed Lisa's story, not just the rebellious rapper of TLC, but a woman searching for meaning beyond fame and music. Lisa Left Eye Lopes' legacy has only deepened since these truths came to light. She is remembered not only as a fierce performer, but also as a seeker, someone who wanted to heal herself and others. TLC continues to honor her memory in concerts and interviews, keeping her voice alive. The shocking details revealed after her passing added layers of vulnerability, courage, and humanity to her legacy. Lisa's story reminds us that behind every spotlight there may be a soul yearning for answers that fame alone can never provide. Bernard Jeffrey McCulloch, Bernie Mac. Bernard Jeffrey McCulloch, born October 5, 1957, in Chicago, Illinois, became a household name as Bernie Mac, one of the most beloved comedians of his generation. Rising from humble beginnings on Chicago's South Side, he built his reputation through stand-up comedy, eventually breaking into television and film. His unique blend of blunt honesty and warmth won audiences over, especially on The Bernie Mac Show 2001 to 2006, which earned him both a Peabody Award and 2 Emmy nominations. He also lit up the big screen in hits like Ocean's 11, Bad Santa Guess Who, and Mr. 3000. By the time of his death, Bernie Mac had become one of the most respected figures in comedy, admired for his ability to make people laugh while staying true to his roots. When Bernie Mac passed away on August 9, 2008, at the age of 50, fans were devastated. The official cause was complications from pneumonia, but shocking details soon emerged about a hidden battle he had been fighting for more than 25 years. Mac had lived with sarcoidosis, a chronic inflammatory disease that attacks multiple organs, most often the lungs. The condition weakened his immune system and left him vulnerable to infections. Yet Bernie rarely spoke about it publicly. His family and publicist later confirmed that the disease had made him more susceptible to the pneumonia that ultimately claimed his life. For audiences who only saw his charisma and booming voice on stage, this revelation was both surprising and heartbreaking. It showed that even as he brought joy to millions, Bernie himself was enduring constant health challenges in silence. He chose to let the spotlight shine on his comedy, not his condition. The disclosure of Bernie's illness after his passing did not diminish his impact, it magnified it. Fans came to admire not only his comedic genius but also his resilience. Despite the fatigue and discomfort caused by sarcoidosis, he continued to work tirelessly, often traveling and performing at a pace that would exhaust even the healthiest stars. Bernie Mac's posthumous secret added depth to his legacy. He was more than a comedian. He was a fighter who refused to let illness define him. His humor, his honesty, and his determination live on, inspiring not only laughter, but also respect for his strength. Even in death, Bernie Mac reminds us that sometimes the funniest people are those who carry the heaviest burdens. Behind every legend lies a truth the world never expected. Sometimes inspiring, sometimes heartbreaking, but always unforgettable. From Michael Jackson's hidden struggles, to Aaliyah's secret marriage, from Chadwick Boseman's silent fight to Nipsey Hussle's visionary legacy, these revelations remind us that greatness often comes with unseen battles. Their stories force us to ask, should we remember them for their art alone, or also for the secrets revealed after their passing? The answer isn't simple. What do you think? Does knowing the hidden truth change how we honor them? Share your thoughts below and stay with Legends of Black Excellence.